Hello, everyone. My name is Thiago Ribeiro, and I will be presenting my research that is entitled The Formation of Sustainable Ecosystems, a Brazilian Green Hydrogen Case. This research was presented in the PhD Symposium that happened alongside the International Workshop on Advancers in Cleaner Production on November 11, 2021. I would like to express my greatest gratitude to the organization committee for this special mention, and also express my gratitude to my two supervisors, Roberto Nogueira and Paula Chimenti. Before diving into the research, I would like to give a brief background information. So I'm attending the PhD program at Copiade Graduate School of Business. This business school is part of the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro. That is the oldest university in Brazil and one of the most recognized in Latin America. And this business school offers many programs. The famous full-time MBA program that has been listed 11 times in the Financial Times rankings as one of the best MBAs in the world, and many other programs such as the Executive MBA, Master in Finance, in Company Trainings, and also the PhD program that I'm attending. A little bit about myself. I have a bachelor's in chemical engineering, also a master in science. For almost a decade, I worked as a key account manager, interacting with many companies from different type of sectors, especially related to energy. And during that period, I saw so many fast and deep transformations going on in the energy sector that has motivated me to return to academia to study what was going on, what was happening. So I quit my job at the end of this period to start a full-time MBA program, the program I just mentioned. And during that program, I also had the opportunity to do an exchange program at CEIBS, China Europe International Business School, located in Shanghai, China, that, if I'm not mistaken, in 2020 was considered the 5th best business school in the world, according to the Financial Times global ranking. And during that period, I started my research in the phenomenon of energy transition that was surprising me for the velocity, the traction that it gained over the past decades. So as you can imagine, my interests are related to energy strategy and technology. Now, when I started my research, I did a systematic literature review around the phenomena of energy transition in the field of business and management. And one thing that surprised me is that while this field brings a rich and a very insightful analysis of the phenomenon, it also brings a fragmented view of it. And why is that? There are so many case studies going on in this field, and there's nothing wrong with case studies. I'm doing one myself as well. But the thing is, case studies, they sometimes focus a lot on the specificities of the region that energy transition is happening. And that is understandable because different regions in the world, they have different natural resources, different legislations. So scholars, they focus on those specific aspects and when they are reporting their research. But we know that if we are to achieve the grand goal of energy transition as one society, as a single society, we need the participation of multiple organizations that are sometimes outside their supply chains. We need the participation of many players, actors, stakeholders, such as energy-related companies, non-energy related companies, citizens, regulators, and etc. I also noticed that the green hydrogen was fairly overlooked among in this field, among scholars in this field. And I can understand that as well, because this is an emerging technology that has recently gained attention of the public. But I think this is a fair moment to start a discussion with the scholars that are publishing in that field, because this technology has the potential to promote major changes, if not disruption, in the way that we interact with energy. Just to give you a brief understanding of what I mean by an integrated view of the energy sector. This came from the systematic literature review. So we mapped all the actors that came from those 104 articles, and we mapped all the links that the scholars could find to give this broad understanding about this ecosystem. So we can see energy-related companies such as oil and gas companies, wind companies, coal companies, but also non-energy-related companies such as NGOs, academic institutions, like universities, mining industry, food industry, and etc. I'm very lucky. Lucky for me, there are many enterprises now being born talking about green hydrogen in the world, and one of them is really close to me. It's happening here in Brazil, in the northeast of Brazil, in the state of Ceará. That is the Brazilian Green Hydrogen Hub. So many companies are signing memorandum of understanding, showing their intentions to invest in that region to produce green hydrogen. So those are some of the companies. Since I developed this slide deck, other companies joined this enterprise as well. So the idea here, I'm sorry, let me return. So the idea here is that we use onshore and offshore wind generation, power, electricity, also solar electricity, and we use this renewable electricity to promote the electrolysis of water to produce this green hydrogen. This green hydrogen is going to be stored momentarily, and it can be exported to other regions in the world, such as Europe. There are countries such as Germany and Norway that has expressed interest in this type of technology, and also could be used internally in Brazil or in South America, because there are other industries that could benefit from the use of green hydrogen. There are industries that are very hard to decarbonate or to electrify, such as steel making or concrete. So green hydrogen could be a viable solution for them as well. So that motivated us to create two research questions. First is how this green hydrogen ecosystem is structured in terms of actors, connections, and borders over time. Why do we say over time? Because we have a rare opportunity here. We have an ecosystem that is being born. It's almost a baby. It has less than 1 year. This green hydrogen hub in Brazil was born in the first semester of 2021. So it has less than a year. So we can have this evolutionary aspect over time to understand how these sustainable ecosystems are formed. And we want to understand also the main drivers acting upon this ecosystem. And basically by drivers, we mean the main forces acting upon this ecosystem, mainly trends and uncertainties. Those uncertainties, for example, if they unfold from one direction or another, this can significantly change the structure of the ecosystem, like the centrality, the importance of some actors, how they are connecting in the system. So this can drastically change. So in a strategic perspective, it's important to anticipate those changes. So that's why we are mapping those drivers as well. To answer those research questions, we are proposing this research process. So as I said, the research started as a desk-based research, doing a systematic literature review, a type of systematic that is called scoping literature review, that helped us to identify the gaps and problematization that I mentioned before, and we selected this case, the Green Hydrogen Hub. And the next step of the research is an empirical step, and it's divided in 3 different phases. As you can see, this is a mixed methods approach. We are using qualitative and quantitative analysis. The idea is to perform semi-structured in-depth interviews with key stakeholders that are presented in this Green Hydrogen Hub. And from that, we can map which actors are important in this ecosystem and how they interact among themselves, what are the borders of the system, and also to map the trends and uncertainties of the system. From those interviews, we can transcribe them and extract qualitative data that we can transform into quantitative, because now we have those actors and how they interact. We can now chart a new ecosystem that is related to the Green Hydrogen Hub. And we can use network analysis. Network analysis comes from graph theory in discrete mathematics. And we can use the statistics and quantitative measures like degree distribution, centrality measures, diffusion effects to understand the likelihood of this ecosystem to change structure, giving it an evolutionary perspective. And when we have the main findings from phase 1 and phase 2, we can go to phase 3, which is the validation step. We're going back to the participants and ask their opinion about our main findings to see if they do make sense, because we want to capture what is happening on the real world. So we don't want to simply report something that doesn't make sense to the practitioner. So we need to bridge the practitioner world with academic world. That's what we're trying to do over here. If everything is fine, we go to the final step, which is the reporting and documenting our findings, which is the creating of an article. If not, we go back to any of the other stage, so we can fix any issues that we have. So the task-based research we plan to publish really soon in the Journal of Clinical Production. And currently, we are in between phase 1 and phase 2 of the empirical research. The more interviews that we have, we are using this information to update our network, our graphic representation of the Green Hydrogen Hub. We expect from this research 4 main contributions. First is to promote the Brazilian green hydrogen economy as a way of promoting the Sustainable Development Goals. In specific, we're talking about Goal 17, which is often a goal that is overlooked in the business and management field. I don't remember any article specifically talking about that goal, but also we're talking about Goal 7, Affordable and Clean Energy, and Goal 13, the Climate Action. We also want to close that gap, so we want to start a discussion about the green hydrogen, this emerging technology in the field of business and management and accounting. We want to understand the formation and operation of sustainable ecosystems because, as I said, it's rare that we see an ecosystem being formed beforehand. So generally, the articles that we see, they that use the theory of ecosystem, the ecosystem is already formed. So we're trying to understand how they form since the beginning and evolve over time. And we want to advance the theory of ecosystem by bringing the business ecosystem theory with the network theory, which we advocate as a great way of operationalize the business ecosystem theory. And that's it. Thank you for your time and your attention. If you have any questions related to this research or any topic that's related to this research, please contact me through the email that is here on the screen. And thank you again for your time. Goodbye.